bringing sports, entertainment, and technology podcasts together. This is SPNT.
Red vs. Red is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. Download the Stitcher Smart Radio app today at stitcher.com/SPNT. What's happening, everybody? It's the Red vs. Red podcast here at SPNT.TV. I am your host, Nick Superling. Yes, I am cold. It is a brisk fall day here in the United States of America. And it's a good day today, actually a good week, as Champions League action has kicked off. And my Manchester United are proud victors tonight with a 1-0 victory over Galatasaray. Let's welcome in my co-host, the Liverpool supporter, the other half of Red vs. Red. His name's Mike Smith. What's happening, Mike? How you been, man?
Are you sure this is recording, Nick? Are you sure? Sure you're going to take another take at this again, just to make sure we're actually recording this time?
You know, what's cool is I have control over whether or not people can hear you, so I could just easily mute you. But I would never do that. Yes, we had a little glitch at the beginning. We got to figure it out, though. We're here now. That's all that matters.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm fine. It's not that cold in Kent tonight. It's a relatively warm night. So that concludes the weather report part of Red versus Red. And let's get cracking into let's get cracking into the action, eh?
Absolutely. Each and every week we each split up the show. We cover Manchester United and Liverpool. But we're going to do it a little differently this week since both of our teams are playing one another on Sunday. We'll talk about that game for the entire second half of the podcast. But before we do that, I did win the coin toss this week. I'm up 5-3 over you, Mike. I gotcha. So we'll lead things off with a little. I decided to let you go first. We'll talk Liverpool. So kick things off for us.
Yeah, the not so mighty Reds didn't listen to a bit about my advice from 2 weeks ago. You may well remember my 15-minute rant after the 2-0 loss to Arsenal. They went up to Sunderland and, in typical Liverpool fashion, they went 1-0 down to a Stephen Fletcher goal. But uncharacteristically like Liverpool, they actually came back, and with Luis Suarez with a good finish. From open play, it was a 1-1 draw. So a very, very welcome point to the Reds this season. That means after 4 games, we have 2 points, and we're sitting loud and proud in 17th position at the moment. Regarding the play, Liverpool had plenty of chances, but yet again, we gave the ball away high up the pitch. Glenn Johnson being the culprit this time. Sunderland broke away and scored goals. One of the most disturbing factors at the moment for Liverpool is the senior players seem to be giving the ball away quite regularly, which is something you don't tend to expect from your senior guys. You tend to look to them to actually lead the action. So that's something that I think Brendan Rodgers is going to have to sort out. But yes, a welcome point. We have a terrible record at Sunderland. We haven't won there the past 3 years. You may well remember 2009 when Darren Bent scored when his shot hit a beach ball in the crowd and then went in. Last year, Nicholas Bentner scored the winning goal against Liverpool in another uncharacteristic 1-0 win to the Black Cats. Just to sort of round it off at the moment, Liverpool have only won 5 league games in the calendar year 2012. That's relegation form, quite frankly. So, although it's late December now, coming into October, it's my birthday in October. I won't mind an unbeaten month full of wins, but I can't wait to see the back of 2012 at the moment. You may remember last week I did my little pitch about Liverpool's campaign beginning into the Europa League and how our next team we were playing. Well, I thought that team was Andy Makachkala. It turns out I was completely wrong. The actual team we're playing is the humorously titled Young Boys. Young Boys, they're a Swiss team. They play in Bern. I have to be very careful what I say, so it doesn't sound somewhat sinister. It doesn't sound somewhat sinister, i.e., Liverpool going to play with some young boys or something along those lines. I don't really know much about this team. They finished third in the Swiss Premier League last season. They've got one or two players who sort of coming to the end of their career and no doubt using the tax breaks in Switzerland to their full advantage by turning out for this team. They played Spurs a couple of seasons ago in the Champions League, and Spurs promptly put them to the sword. Liverpool quite spookily played a number of teams which Spurs have played in the previous European campaigns, Hearts and now Young Boys. So they've got a bit of experience playing against Premiership teams. But I think that Liverpool, in terms of being Europe this season, we tend to have been. Well, thanks very much, Mike Donnelly. They have a player who was born in England called Steve Suter. I hope that's how to pronounce his name. I'm not so sure what the German or the French pronunciation is. But I think we should have too much for them. We tend to play better in Europe than we have done in the league so far this season. We're going to put out what I've been told is quite a young team in preparation for a certain game on Friday. Not Friday. That
would be one hell of a turnaround.
That'd be one turnaround. I'll come on to Friday's antics. Forthcoming Friday's antics in a bit. We're playing a certain high-profile game on Sunday, so it's likely going to be playing quite a young team against Young Boys on Thursday night. But I still think we'll have too much for them. And I'm predicting I think Liverpool will come away with a gritty 1-0. Nick, did you see any of the Liverpool game?
I saw the second half. And to be fair, I saw just a little bit of the first half. And in the first half they were not in sync. They weren't playing well together. They had a lot of the ball, but they really had no chances going forward. The defense on the goal by I can't remember his name. He was the transfer from Wolves, Stephen Fletcher. I mean, that was a terrible goal. How do you let him get in front of you? I mean, that to me was just some of the – and he got in front of Skirtle of all players. I mean, he's one of your best center backs. How does that happen? That's what's baffling to me.
Skirtle's made 2 or 3 glaring errors like that this season. But I think just to point out what I said 2 weeks ago, I still think some of those Liverpool players have got ideas above their station of how good they actually are. Mm-hmm. And Sunderland are not a good team. They're really not.
But they have gotten better. You can't argue the Sunderland hasn't gotten better since Martin O'Neill came.
But they play the style of football they play, though. You could say it's effective. It's not sustainable. And O'Neill's done this to so many teams. He's spent loads of money at Leicester, spent loads of money at Villa. Yeah, he had success at Celtic, but hey, I'm sorry, Mike Donnelly, it's the Scottish League. Anyone can have success at Rangers or Celtic with the amount of money and the resources they had. But he does this at every team. He chokes the enjoyment and the life out of watching football. I mean, it's a very effective football, and the results have improved for Sunderland. But they spend so much money just to fight off relegation and not actually push any further for those European spaces or for those cup wins, which really what Sunderland ought to be aiming for. I still maintain that if United had gone 1-0 down, and then got a goal back, United would have gone on to win that game. United, because Sunderland, I'm sorry, but not a good team. And
Liverpool, United has the forwards that can do that. Liverpool doesn't.
No, we don't. But we have the midfield that should be controlling that game. And really, midfielders, when we haven't got the goal scoring centre forwards, we really should have the midfielders. You can contribute to those goals. I mean, got Steven Gerrard. Right. The guy scores. He should be scoring more than 10 goals a season. I do think it was a game necessary. In the second half, we came back. It was a game for the taking, and really, it was disappointing that Liverpool couldn't push that bit further forward. I'd argue that Liverpool, as the game went on, the momentum became greater, and if maybe we had another 10 minutes extra, we would have nicked that. We would have nicked the winning goal. But like you said, Nick, we can't expect to win games if the defending is going to be so shabby. That's a really really bad point at the moment about Liverpool. Is on paper we seem to have a good defense, but a good defense. So look how American with
Defense.
when it comes to following it comes to following the NFL. But if we can't defend simple goals like that, and we're still making silly mistakes, then this team's got no hope. But I think all we need is one welcome win.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a scabby, horrible, we play awful win, that's fine. That is absolutely fine for me. No such problems at Man United. No. I'm sorry to say.
I did, and we mentioned this last week on the show. The Being Liverpool series that debuted this week. I watched it, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, Mike.
I've not seen it yet.
You haven't seen it?
Here.
Wow, what kind of fan are you? What kind of fan are you, Mike? Unbelievable.
Does it come out till Friday?
I just watched it last week.
Yeah, we have a delay here. We don't get the stuff as quickly as you guys do.
That makes no sense. But
go on, tell me.
Well, no, it was great. It was great. I learned a lot about Liverpool. I learned a lot about Brendan Rodgers and what they did this summer to prepare for the season. I really liked it. Now, I hope Fox Soccer or whoever produces this show does one for Manchester United because I don't know what I would do. I would love something like that to get an inside look, and I hope that they would do it before Sir Alex leaves.
I don't think Ferguson would ever allow it. He's never been one for even releasing the team. He releases the team as late as possible. He likes to shield his players and that sort of thing. For example, when in the early 90s, when Lee Sharp was playing for Man United, and this is a true story. Him and Ryan Giggs were out in a nightclub during the week. Alex Ferguson got a call from a member of the press saying 2 of your players are out on the RAS, as we call it here. So Alex Ferguson gets up, puts on his dressing gown, pajamas, goes to this nightclub, walks in, pulls them out. Kid you not, that's what he did. That is what he did, and that is a true story, because that is the iron grip that Ferguson has over that club. There is no way you'll ever get a camera in at Man United. But I've heard good things about being Liverpool, especially about Brendan Rodgers. So I look forward to seeing it though. So what was like the highlight for you? Besides watching us struggle.
Well, I think that it was cool to see the Liverpool team. They showed them going to Fenway Park inside the Boston Red Sox clubhouse. So they got a chance to meet some of the Red Sox players. It was neat seeing Bobby Valentine, his interaction with Brendan Rodgers and that sort of thing. I thought that to me was my favorite part of the episode. So I'm looking for. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but I was interested. It kept me intrigued. So I'll definitely be. I have it set to record every episode, so I'll be watching it. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
So we got about 3 minutes left. Let's talk Wigan. United 4-0 winners. A couple of debut performances from Boutner, one of their new signings, with a fantastic individual goal. That was, I don't know if you had a chance to see it, Mike. Patrice Evra better get it going because this guy's ready to play. I know it was just Wigan, but still, the individual skill that goal showed tells me everything I need to know about him playing left back in the future for United. Another guy, Nick Powell, the 18-year-old, scored a fantastic goal. It's good to see these young guys getting the playing time and performing as well. Again, like I said, I know it was Wigan, but still. Wigan, this is the same team that beat us just last spring. So Wigan is no joke, and I'm excited to see what they can do. There was an early play in the game where El Habsi came out for a ball, and Danny Welbeck went down very easily. Now, last year, I was extremely harsh on Ashley Young late in the season because he kept diving like a little girl. No offense to the women out there, but I can't stand divers. Welbeck, he may have been clipped barely. It was the slightest of touches from El Habsi. The ref gave him the penalty. It was a terrible call. It was one of the most awfully officiated games I've ever seen, Mike. And United won 4-0. I was so disgusted by the referee, and it was just because Hernandez missed a penalty kick. So the ball don't lie. That's what we say here in the States. When there's a bad call. But I can't stand the diving. I can't stand the terrible officiating, and I'm just glad they got the win. I'm glad to see those two guys step up and have a chance to perform in a United jersey at home at Old Trafford in front of an awesome crowd. So kudos to them. The future looks bright.
Yeah, you say about the referees. I don't think they're quite as bad as the NFL replacement refs at the moment.
Well, that's for another show, my friend.
That's a totally different. Yeah, but again, it's I'm going to say it. Welbeck dived.
Yeah, I agree.
So did Luis Suarez, though. But that's sadly it's part and parcel of the game nowadays.
Well, he has a reputation now.
Well, that is exactly, and that's unfortunately why you shouldn't do it, because there'll be one time where Welbeck will be clean through, hopefully on Sunday, rain and all, rugby tackle him to the ground, and Welbeck will get sent off for diving, even though he didn't actually do anything wrong. But it's the same with Suarez. They build up these reputations, and it's cheating. It's cheating. I mean, why do it to Wigan? It's not like, right. All respect to Wigan, you don't need to do that if you're that good a player. Really, your ability and your skills should easily see you home, and eventually it did.
They did that tonight as well in the Champions League game against Galatasaray. Nani, he may have had a case, but he went down very easily in the box. So did Valencia, which was even more disappointing. And the refs didn't give it. So, I'm glad that United got 2 wins there, and it's a big game coming up on Sunday, which we'll be talking about here in just a minute. It's halftime here on Red vs. Red. We're so glad you could join us. Don't forget you can email us, redversusred@spnt.tv. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear your questions about United or Liverpool. So hit us up, redversusred@spnt.tv. You can also follow us on Twitter at SPNT_red versus red. We'd love to get some more Twitter followers out there. I try to live tweet during the games. Sometimes I don't get to them. I have to tape delay them. And luckily I've got a good friend in Mike Smith who likes to jump on the Twitter and take care of that as well. So make sure you give us a follow there at SPNT_red versus red. Don't forget to rate and review the show on iTunes. We'd love to hear your feedback, whether it's good or bad. We've had a lot of good reviews of the show in the iTunes store. We certainly appreciate everybody who's stopped by there and taken a look at the show there. You can also get the show on the Stitcher Smart Radio app today. So make sure you log on to Stitcher.com/SPNT. Download that app for your cell phone. Then you can also check out all of the other SPNT shows through the Stitcher Smart Radio app. So check that out as well. Mike, am I leaving anything out? I guess we should probably do shout-outs, huh?
Yeah, but have you got the button? You press the button.
There you go.
That's the one.
Who you got this week?
I've got a shout-out for my work five-a-side team, Plandelect, who are we're playing in the annual Royal Town Planning Institute five-a-side tournament this coming Friday. We're the reigning champions at the moment, so we're off down to the Power League in London's Docklands to defend our title. So I'm going to be tweeting straight live from the tournament itself, keeping up to date, all our fans out there up to date with what's happening, who's going to score the goals, and how far we get in the tournament. So yeah, I want a big shout out to them, and hopefully we come away with some silverware.
So tell me more about this game real quick.
Oh, it's a tournament of 16 teams, five-a-side. It's basically cage. The game's only last about 10 minutes. You've got to have team of 5. You've got to have one girl on the pitch at all times. So but you can have roll-on, roll-off substitutes. So the idea is 5 boys, 2 girls. There's only one half, so it's really, really fast. So whistle goes. That's the result. Next game on.
All right.
Then it's like Champions League group stages. Top 2 go through. Then it's a straight knockout tournament all the way through. So
cool. I'm going to give a quick shout out to Aaron Jeffrey. He's a Facebook friend of mine and another Manchester United fan. So that is my shout out this week. Aaron Jeffrey, all the way down in Florida. So there you have it. Those are our shout outs. If you want to be shouted out on the program, hit us up on Twitter at SPNT_Red versus Red or email us at redversusred@spnt.tv. All right, Mike. So I think there's a big game on Sunday, but I don't know. I don't think there is. Oh, it's Manchester City Arsenal. That's right.
Yeah, it's the champions, isn't it? It's the champions from true Manchester. Yeah, playing Arsenal. Yeah. Well, let's face it. It's the biggest game in the world being played on Sunday. The game that is Liverpool, Manchester United. The history, the passion, the rivalry between the fans. I'd argue there's nothing quite like it in world football. Both of these cities have been rivals, not only on the soccer pitch, also in the workplace. Even the culture of the two cities are somewhat rival. Even the music that both of these cities have been produced has a rivalry unto its own, and it all comes down to 90 minutes of basically thunder on the pitch this coming Sunday. Throw into the scenario you have the Evra and the Suarez arguments culminating from last season. The game has to be played early, so there's no trouble between the two fans. United have won everything in the past 20 years. Liverpool have won not very much in the past 20 years. A somewhat reversal of 20 years before that. So you can kind of see that it's unbelievable. And it's a rivalry that transcends oceans now, Nick. Look at you.
That's right.
You have your kits, your photos, and look at me. I have my kits, not my photos, but I actually go to the games. So it's I guess that makes us true fans. Right. First thing, I think we'll get this out of the way because I want to get it out of the way. I think it's petty. The handshake. I personally,
I'll tell you this: Evra is not going to play. I don't think he'll play. I don't think he will. I think Sir Alex will sit him out. I think Boutner is going to play left back. Evra did play tonight in the Champions League game tonight, but I don't know I don't know. But I could also see Suarez not starting for you guys either.
Oh, I think he'll play Suarez. He's our only goal scoring threat. Rodgers will play Suarez. The only thing I can think of is coming Sunday. It's our first game at home after stuff came about Hillsborough. So they might find that even if Everett does start, they may very well put the differences aside and just shake hands for the sake, just for the sake of getting on with the game. I personally think the handshake's a waste of time. I don't shake hands when I play football. But before I start playing against someone, I usually shake hands after the game.
Right.
That's when it should be done. It was a complete farce last week. The whole Terry Anton Ferdinand situation as well.
You know why they do the handshakes, right?
John Terry went on trial, didn't he, for racially abusing Anton Ferdinand?
But you know why they do the handshakes at the beginning of the game, right?
Do you know what? It's the whole thing about fair play. So I've actually got I've actually cannot think of logic behind it.
It has nothing to do with it, Mike.
Why is that? For sponsors?
Yeah. Barclays pays a lot of money to have that sign up in front at the beginning of every game, dude.
They have a massive sign, Yeah, I know it's about the money, but they have a massive, huge sign in the centre circle before the game.
Money talks, Mike.
Money sadly does talk, but it's absolutely pathetic though that we have. I'd rather they change banknotes between. I'd rather they receive their pay packets on the pitch rather than actually shaking hands personally.
Yeah.
I'd rather they did like trick shots like they did in the old days that try and entertain the crowd or something like that. Or lead out the mascots. That's absolutely fine. That's great. But the handshake rubbish. Anyway, onto the game.
Yeah.
Liverpool, we're in the bottom four. Surely United have got to expect to go to Anfield and turn us over.
Oh, I sure hope so. I don't know, because I don't know what's going to happen, because you don't have Rooney. Van Persie played okay tonight. He wasn't great. He didn't play much on Sunday against Wigan either, because he picked up a knock in international duty. But yeah, you still have guys like Nani, Hernandez, Welbeck, Kagawa. If Scholes plays, you guys are in trouble. But I surely think that offensively you guys are in trouble. But here's what I'm afraid of, and this is that you guys keep the ball, and that's your style of play now with Rodgers, is that you guys keep the ball so much that I just don't know if United will get the opportunities to even put 4 on the board. I could see it being a 2-1, maybe a 1-0 win. But I just think possession-wise, you guys are going to dominate.
That's the story of Liverpool so far. We had some like 60% possession of the game, but we don't do anything with it. We haven't got a cutting edge.
No, but you keep it away from the other team so that they can't do anything with it.
But we've done that. Then what happened? We conceded 3 goals against West Brom. We conceded 2 against Manchester City. We conceded a goal, 2 against Arsenal, and we conceded against Sunderland. I don't disagree. That's the way to play. I love it. I love the fact of the keep ball possession. But only play it if you know it's going to work. There's nothing wrong with knocking it long sometimes, and I think at Liverpool at the moment they need a win. Rodgers needs that win just to instill a bit of confidence. So but the trouble is now we haven't got Andy Carroll, and so we can't play that way. We have to play it on the deck, and I don't think we have that sort of game to play it on the deck at the moment. Not yet, anyway. I think it will come, but against United, it's not the time to start playing a new system against Manchester United. So I think that Ferguson expects to. He does sort of play around a little bit with when he comes to Anfield. He has made some startling choices in the past. I think he tends to see that beating Liverpool isn't necessarily the be-all and end-all for Manchester United's season. There are other teams like Man City, like Arsenal, like Chelsea, who he needs to beat more than Liverpool nowadays. Plus the fact they can get results here at home and away against lesser teams. So if United lose this game, it's not the season. It's not the season over Man United. It's one of the early games, which is better. But for Liverpool, I think this is really going to set us up for the next couple of weeks. I really, really do. Team-wise, Suarez should play. Barini should play. I don't know regarding that other slot up front. It's been Raheem Sterling so far, but I'm not so sure Brendan Rodgers will play him. I think he may sit him out of this one and put Stuart Downing there because I think that someone like Evra or someone like the United fullbacks will have a bit more experience and know how to deal with him. Sterling would have lost that whole impact by then. So I think he might put in Downing and may throw Sterling on towards the end if it's quite a tight contest. It's times like this that makes me think, I wish Dirk Kuyt was still at Liverpool, because I think because every time he's played against Everett, he's made him look, he's really put him in his place.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting in that respect. It's going to be interesting seeing how Gerrard's going to play. He usually has quite good games. He's got a fly on the glasses here at the moment. Got a fly. He usually has quite good games against United. But it's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to be allowed to push forward. I'm just praying that Reina doesn't make a mistake. Please, don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Please. But I personally can't wait. 1:30, Greenwich Mean Time. Sky, no doubt on Sky Sports, wherever. This is the type of game that the whole land stops and watches. But like I said in the chat room before, the main difference, 3 letters, RVP. He put Liverpool to the sword last season, and I don't see there's any reason why he shouldn't do it again this season.
I still remember that goal in Anfield late in the year for Arsenal. I believe it was a chip, some kind of cross. It might have been a chip from Alex Song.
Yeah.
And he won. He didn't even take a touch. He just volleyed it right in the net past Reina. And that was just kind of that's just how it went last year for you guys. But no, I predict, I'll say, now that you've kind of talked me out of it, Mike, I'll say 3-1 United. I'll say Van Persie has a brace.
I think ideally Ferguson would have liked to started Van Persie on the bench if Rooney was fit, but he's going to start. And I think if Liverpool can keep him quiet for the first 20 minutes, and then be on their toes towards the end of the game, so United are chasing, I think that we can contain Van Persie. It's generally the other players that I'm a bit concerned about, the ones like Nani. I mean, I think Kagawa might have an interesting day as well. Him and Allen. If Lucas was playing against Kagawa, then I'd be quite happy. But I think that new players, Kagawa and Allen, you're going to see in their purest form ability versus ability and stamina versus strength. That's going to be a key area for Liverpool. Is that if they can win that part of the game that protects the centre backs, then I think we might have a chance. I also think that Mike Donnelly is going to point out as well to the defenders. Set pieces. Liverpool have actually been quite decent at set pieces this season. So I think if United give away, say, a silly free kick towards the D, Liverpool have got that potential with Martin Skrtel running in, because he scored a lot of goals last season. And against City as well, he looked good in the air. I'm going to make a prediction, and I think that unfortunately our first win's not going to come yet, and I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to United. I know I should never sound pessimistic for being my own club and that, but the pure cold-hearted man of logic in me, I can't see past United winning this game. I don't think it's necessarily the end of. It's all about bad news for Brendan Rodgers. We can't compete against the likes of United this season, and arguably we're not going to be able to compete against them the season after. We should be. This is kind of why I was upset about not beating Sunderland and not beating West Brom, because those are the games that we ought to be winning, not against the top, not against the top teams this season.
Right.
So I think I would love a win, and I'll be cheering the lads on Sunday. But if we don't, I'll be upset. But I think I'll be upset only for about a day or two, and I think we can then take it forward. And besides, away game at Old Trafford later on in the season, he laughs loudest, as I think. So you never know what's going to happen now between now and the end of the season. But it looks a great day of action on there for Sunday. You have Liverpool, the Super Sunday. You have Liverpool United, and then City versus what is turning out to be a pretty good Arsenal team. Do you know when United are playing Arsenal?
I don't.
That I think is going to be an absolute. I mean, United beat them 8-2 last season.
At Old Trafford, yeah.
But Arsenal, completely different team now. They're a much better team now, though. But I can't wait. I can't wait. So I think Van Persie will get a brace, but I think Liverpool will score from open play there, and I think I think Barini might open his account. I think he's had a number of chances from close range. I think that he's probably not going to play on Thursday, so I think it'd be nice, hopefully nice and rested, and I think he'll get a goal.
November 3rd, by the way, Mike.
On the
November 3rd is when our Manchester United play host to the Gunners.
Post to the Gunners. Is that Old Trafford or at the Emirates? Yeah.
Hence the play hosts. So they're the home team.
Okay. But I think Van Persie will score a brace in this game, and I think that. Oh,
it sounds familiar. Didn't I just say that a minute ago? Cheater.
Well, I could be cheating, but that is. Look, I mean, his record speaks for itself, though, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So I suppose though it's going to be interesting to see because he did hobble off the Netherlands last week.
Yeah, but he played in the Wigan game. He seemed fine. He played most of the night tonight. I think he played 75 minutes or so. He seemed fine.
Yeah. So he should be fine.
Yeah.
And Carrick's got his scoring boots on, so you never know what you never know with that.
And before we go, I have to say, and I forgot to mention this earlier, big ups to Darren Fletcher returning to the Manchester United first team tonight. He got some action late in the game, so kudos to you, Darren. Glad to see you back in a Red Devils jersey. It's now time for some stoppage time.
Okay. Basically, this week in the Barclays Premier League, as I mentioned, Arsenal 6-1 winners over Southampton. Even though Southampton did score 3 of those goals for the Gunners, they look in terrible trouble. They look in terrible trouble.
Well, okay, now let's be fair, Mike. They've played City, United, and Arsenal in 3 out of their first 4. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they lost to Wigan at home though as well. That's kind of
those are the games they have to win. You're right. I will give you that. But I mean, come on. I feel bad for Nigel Adkins. Norwich
0, West Ham 0, Villa 2, Swansea 0. Swansea down to their first defeat of the season. Bit of a shock result, really. Fulham 3, West Brom 0. West Brom returning to old ways. Fulham returning to good ways. Berbatov getting off to a great start there at the Cottage.
How good is he?
QPR 0, Chelsea 0. No handshakes, no goals. Stoke 1, City 1. 2 points drop for City, I'd say. Definitely two points drop for City in that game. And again, there was some bad refereeing.
Thank you, Peter Crouch.
Okay. Well, former Liverpool player, Peter Crouch. I seem to remember he did score a goal in an FA Cup tie against Man United once. So I'll allow him that. I'll allow him that one. It was all right to play for Liverpool. And Spurs get their first win of the season, beating Reading 3-1. And arguably game of the week, Everton 2, Newcastle 2. But Denver Barr criticising the management there at Newcastle for not starting him. He comes off the bench, scores 2 goals, asks, why am I not starting the games? Justified his selection by scoring 2 goals, but I think Pardew, you don't want necessarily your forwards kicking off like that. But I think Everton were disappointed. Everton have got quite a good record against Newcastle at home, so 2 points drop for them. And after having such a wonderful start, and typical Everton, they get worked up for Man United game, and the rest of the games they tend to forget about. So that's why you're not in the top 4, guys. You got to think about all your games, not just about the big, not just sort of thinking about beating the big teams.
Right. How about Real Madrid down 2-1 in the 85th minute, came back to beat City. That was fantastic. I love you, Cristiano Ronaldo. You're welcome back anytime, by the way.
Even if he plays against you guys?
Nope. He can only come back in a United jersey.
Oh well, I can't see that happening yet. But if he plays for Madrid against United, I think there's only one allegiance to Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's himself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who he plays for. Yeah, Champions League as well is back. Arsenal 2-1 winners, and tonight United won 1-0, and Chelsea defended their crown with a 2-2 draw at home to Juventus after going 2-0 up, 2 goals for Oscar.
All right. That's going to wrap up episode 8 of Red vs. Red from Mike Smith. I'm Nick Suberling. Hey, we'll see you next time on Red vs. Red.